This is Koiro with another video in my DosCember calendar series. And then I want to present you with some items that it's not a recent purchase, but it's less than a year ago that I got this machine. First we have some power bricks, and this is not switch mode bricks, it's normal transformers inside these. And that's of course quite unusual for luggageable or carriageable computers, but as you will see, what's contained within this box is quite a carriageable item. What this is, I will show you in a minute, but first I will unpack the rest of the stuff that I got in the same shipment. First I have this 5¼ inch floppy drive that connects to this machine. And I got this. Of course, if there is more than one cable connected somewhere, it always makes a disaster and tangle themselves in. But this is an original Genius mouse. I used to sell these mouse back in the day, but this is something so unusual that it has a 25-pin connector, and this connector I can give you a close-up later, but it's a bit damaged. And also in the same box is a special printer cable. I'm not sure if this belongs to this device or not. It has an unusual 15-pin connector here, so this might more look like something that's from a GPIB or something. And there also was some other serial port leads, and this is a printer cable that states Brother on one end and Osborne on one end. So this is probably been used to transfer files from one computer to another. And it also was a 25 to 9-pin serial adapter. It's not something we are going to need here, I think. The same with this cable. So this is the items that I got in this box. And back in the day there was a number of clones that was more or less compatible, and in the start there was a lot of electronic companies that come from other standings than PC manufacturer or other stuff that threw themselves on the computer bandwagon. And this computer here actually is a Bondwell computer. In Norway they was sold by the company that's called West Computer. And the machine itself looks in really nice condition. It has some yellow plastics and so on, but otherwise it looks real nice. And now we are close by, and I will take a short run through of this machine. We start with the outside. On this side we have a 9-pin plug that's marked RGB, and we also have a composite video here which automatically makes me think that this is CGA. And we also have 2 ports here that's marked with Telco and Telsat, and that's for a built-in modem. If the modem is actually fitted in this unit or not, I don't know, but the connectors from the outside is here. On this side of the machine we have an on-off switch, that's this one, and we have a contrast for the LCD, and also the quite big full height for 3.5 inch floppy drive, at least drive mechanism here. And on the back we do have the rest of the connectors. They are hidden behind the flap, and here you have an RS-232 serial. We have the printer, and here you can see it actually is the printer cable that we got with the unit, because this is a special 15-pin D-sub, And this printer cable we have fits nicely to this one. It has this kind of connector in one end and Centronics in the other end. And the connector here is for the floppy unit. So unlike the Toshiba units, this doesn't share the printer port with the external disk drive. And here you have a switch for on-off backlight on the machine, and you have the power input here. And as we have the original power bricks, we are just going to connect it as is. And we took a quick peek on this before, but on this side it's not very much to tell. You have the keyboard with the function keys, you have the arrow keys and page up and page down and home and end, and you have the normal keyboard. But this keyboard is not fully Norwegian. This is a keyboard that's meant for Sweden, I think. And probably they didn't make a model that's meant just for the Norwegian market. Otherwise they didn't know how to print and put this in place. On the back of the unit we also have the carrying handle on this machine, and it's also some alarming things here, because here there should have been 2 screws. It's not that the screws are missing that is a concern to me, it's that someone else has been inside here. And on the back here we have a service note. And it stands that this machine, the Bondwell, it's been returned to West Service. And as I said, this was sold by West Computers in Norway. By this time they have changed their name to Peseland Norway. And this service sticker is still on the machine in its original form. But I did not see any year markings on when the service was performed. We also have some serial number stickers, and this sticker down here tells us when this machine was manufactured. And this machine was manufactured week 41 in 1986. So that's the production date of this computer. And as normal in this series, we will try to turn this on in a little bit. First we will review the floppy drive, and as I stated, the floppy drive is connected to an external connector, so that mean they have their own interface. And the model number for this is 112B, and it's a 5¼ inch floppy drive. And the floppy disk that was inside there just went missing. I will not take this apart in this video, but probably this will need some servicing, and then we will take it apart in a later video. This machine does not have a built-in hard drive, so it's a floppy drive machine. The disk that went missing, it's actually marked with MS-DOS 2.11 and GV Basic on it. And we might try to just connect this and see if this actually turns or whatever it does. Keep this turned off. And I have the tangle of cables and stuff here that we need to unwind before we can test anything. And this is the interface for the computer. This has at some time in its life changed the power plug, and this is not in very good shape. They've actually used some tape to fit this together, so that we have to be careful with. And this is the power supply for the disk drive. And I will just check the voltages. This is AC 230 volt, and it should give output of AC 16 volt and 9 volt. So there will be an internal power supply in the floppy unit that will do the rectification and regulation of the power for this, because this floppy drive needs 5 volt and 12 volt to run. And this has a plug that looks like this, and it's quite similar to some of the other vintage computers from back in the day. It's not a common contact. This should be connected here, and this will be connected in the back here. And this too is DC 13-8 volt and 1.3 ampere, and it's a center positive, but this is also a high voltage input, so I don't bother much to measure it, because there will be a power regulator and stuff inside the computer, so it's no use to measure the power supply. There was no switch to select the floppy drives here, so it's just the on-off switch. So let's see what's happening. This video is featuring the Bondwell Model 8 laptop computer. And Bondwell was at this time a subsidiary of Spectra Video that produced a line of home computers and later MSX compatible computers before they moved into CP/M computers. And the Model 8 was one of their first, if not the first, MS-DOS compatible computer they manufactured. And it's based on a CMOS version of the 8088 running on 4.77 MHz. And I do actually own several computers that's based on a similar architecture as this one. The display is, I think, CGA compatible, but it do have some abbreviations, as its LCD black and white display is not very good at showing gray tones. It does provide a switchable backlight, so it's readable even in bad light, and the battery lasts up to 8 hours, but that without the backlight activated. And the weight of this computer was about 4.5 kilos, and that's without the power supply. And this model was launched in 1985, but I can't find any review or anything else of this until 1986. This is the front page of the original brochure that was launched with this computer. And here they state all the facts about the machine. And as we can see, it's a really compact and nice looking unit. And when they say here that the display is 640 by 200 pixel graphics display IBM compatible, they does not state what kind of IBM compatibility that they're talking about. Is this is only monochrome black and white text mode, or if it's some kind of graphics mode. Our model comes with the external 5.25-inch floppy drive. That was an original enhancement that was launched side by side with the original computer. And also the special printer cable with the special 15-pin connector, as we saw. And here there actually is a typo in the manual, because the Centronics port does not have a 9-way D-sub, it's a 15-way D-sub. You can see they got it right in the RS-232 division, but not in the Centronics interface. And I've been looking everywhere, and I have not been able to find the service manual for this model. I do have seen someone that have a paper copy of the user manual and the MS-DOS manual and configuration guide, but not the service manual. So if anyone can help me with that, I would be really pleased. For the later lap size and turbo models, there are some service manuals available, but the model differences is making that manual less valuable. InfoWorld did a review on this computer in the August 1986 magazine, and they voted it 5.9. And they said that it was satisfactory on performance, documentation, setup and serviceability, but it was very good on ease of use and value. It was not voted excellent in any way, but in 1985, a 8088 computer started to be a bit old, even though it had a good display and a floppy disk drive. The lack of internal hard drive is of course also an issue for this machine. And this is the whole review of the machine as it was printed in this magazine. And they say that this machine, it had a good value at the list price of almost $1,600 back in the day. Happening. Yes, the unit is on. It was blinking very quick on the LCD and then everything went black. There still is some power light. Maybe it is capacitor failure. I can hear that the floppy drive is just engaging in here when we try to turn the knob. And I also can see some contrast on the screen. The backlight is also delivering some backlight. I will try to reduce the light a bit on the screen, but otherwise nothing is happening. I can turn off the light so you see the backlight on this, but nothing much is happening. I will try another approach. I do know that this is delivering power, but I'm not sure what stopped. I'm not sure what voltages are present or not. I've disconnected the floppy drive and I try again. I do think that it was an internal floppy drive fault that happened was just when we turned it on, because I could see that there was some blinking characters on the screen and they disappeared. So otherwise I'm not sure what to do to make some more tests. This sound we are hearing here in the background is actually from the backlight, and that has its own power supply because this is not backlight with LEDs as it would have been today, and that means there are some drossels or inductors that's handling a higher voltage, and that was this noise. There is nothing on this screen, and I do think that this is just hung on root. So that's how far we got on this test of this machine. There actually is some fault with this, and I will try to find the service manual and dig into this, but that is a project for another video. And this is a Bondwell Model 8, for those who was wondering about that. Yeah, so that's it for this rather shorter than intended video about my Bondwell PC. This is a very rare piece to get in working order anyway, and I've not seen anyone for sale with this external drive, at least not in Norway. So I'm very pleased to have these units, but I do need to address the issues with this further on. So thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe and make a comment on the video if you will notice some changes or anything to the channel. See you in the next one.